Welcome back to Panel Day Superheroes Ahoy, and welcome to part 2 of Just Browsing, a series where I just check out some samples on some books that have been recommended from fellow comic book lovers and some other places. So let's go ahead with the next series of samples. This one is called Injection, Warren Ellis, Image Comics book. Um, Art and Warren Ellis books are always interesting. I have not checked out this book, so I don't know much about it. But yeah, definitely I'll see. Uh, it has been recommended by some good sources, so I have fair reason to believe they are good. Uh, okay, let's look at some new DC books. So these, I think there's a series that's going on or that has already happened called Flashpoint Beyond. I think are these Jeff Johns? No. So there's some weird retro style ads of something called the Jurassic League. Um, then it has a prelude about Barry Allen destroying the world. I think that's where this premise takes from. So it's written by Jeff Johns. Jeff Johns always does great work with Flash books, and he's also written Flashpoint. So yeah, it looks like a good book. Flashpoint Beyond, Volume 1. Let's check some other books. Where are we? So this is Dark Crisis. I believe this is a new Crisis books that are going on. So this is, I think, around the same time as Deceased, War of the Undead Gods, and there's some zombies here. But this is the Dark Crisis book. Looks pretty interesting. Written by Joshua Williamson, and you see Black Adam over there. Okay, so let's check some more books. This is called Superman War World Apocalypse. It looks quite a what if kind of book, the epic conclusion to the War World saga. I have no clue what this is. Dark Crisis on Infinite Earths. This is like a take on the Crisis of Infinite Earth, I assume, and it's a blockbuster event. I don't know which year is this from, but it looks quite out there, right? Uh, so writer Philip Kennedy Johnson. I've never heard of him. Who's the artist? Artists by Brandon Peterson, Bill Conrad, Mark Rayner, and Miguel Mendonca. Again, never heard, but looks certainly interesting. Not something in my like areas of interest, but yeah, War World Apocalypse. Let's check some more books. So this is again FTLO was talking about some Millar books and MillarWorld. So Chrononauts is something that I've read in the past, and quite interesting. Sean Murphy's team, who has worked with Ed Brubaker in some books, and Chrononauts was quite a nice space opera kind of an enjoyable book, something similar to Jupiter's Legacy, but nice science fiction, very well drawn too. So I don't mind checking it out, and getting back to it. So look at some of the art. That's about Chrononauts. While I'm at Chrononauts, let me also check out Starlight. That was also recommended at FTLO. So this is also MillarWorld, and Starlight is pretty much looks similar to Jupiter's Legacy. Okay, so MillarWorld navigates in similar themes. So it's quite a good piece of art here in this panel, this full page art here, the opening page, and there is some nice story happening here. Few panels remind me of Invincible. Okay, so looks interesting. It is showing like a personal POV, and then it starts on a space and sci-fi theme. The art is certainly looking very impressive. I think it's one of the better looking Miller books. So Starlight is something I'll check out for sure. Let me see what else we have got here. So we have checked out the showcase books, we have checked out these other books, we've checked out Batman. Let me check something different. So this book was quite expensive. It's a SpiderMan manga. Marvel Japanese Nights. So it does not move the manga way, it's left to right, but again looks very interesting. So I recently came to know about Deadpool's manga called Deadpool Samurai, and this one looks interesting as well. So original story is an art by Yamanaka Akira, and then there is a team of Japanese artists here, of course, and looks nice, looks typical manga style. It will be interesting to see how they incorporate or blend in Spider-Man into this. So this is where you see. So, and now with the Spider-Verse movies really becoming popular, I think it's become more acceptable to read Spider-Man in different multiverses, in iterations, in different art styles, and I think it is something that might interest me, but it's too expensive. So Japanese Night Spider-Man. Then let me see few other books. So we'll just take few more books for today. So this is something called Tales of the Human Target, again DC Black Label. So this is something very interesting where they do kind of like DC parallel art side of things. So this is an imprint in which DC tries to do more mature themes. This is by Tom King, and this I'll not try to go much deeper due to the uh, mature rating, but this certainly looks something very interesting. Tales of the Human Target, I believe that's a character. uh, so yeah, there you go. Let's look at just a couple of books more. Batman Beyond the White Knight is a book by Sean Murphy, again one of my favorite writers, with Dave Stewart. So certainly should be interesting. This is also DC Black Label. Let me check, it's a mature rating, and again some really great art, and seeing a mature Batman book is always interesting. And this typical Sean Murphy type of art here, really interesting panels, and should be interesting to read. Batman Beyond the White Knight. So last book of today is actually something that I'm reading. So just as a peek into what I'm reading, I recently finished Harbinger Wars. There was a TPB, and then I wanted to pick up some more Valiant books. So I picked up Turok, then Dinosaur Hunter Volume 1 Conquest. These books are always interesting. Turok is one of the revived characters and arcs in Valiant books. Then I am reading Crisis on Infinite Earths. I somehow never got to read it because it was always expensive, and it's a little tough read, but the art and the scan and the digital feeling is quite good. So I'll be very slow with this book, but I'll still plan to read it. Then there is the classic Avengers versus X-Men books. There is a Justice League of Jeff Johns. There is some samples here that I'm reading, and yeah, that is pretty much about it in a peek into my digital library. So yeah, hope you like this kind of a different take into comic books, just to show some of the digital books, the books that we generally can't afford. I thought I'll just try to show you a peek into these books. So hope you enjoy this, and we'll try to do more of these. As I read these books, I'll try to share some reviews as well. So that's about it. Thank you for watching Panel Days. I'll see you in the next video.